Henry Wu. Yeah, this sly motherfucker. He has a real fetish with creating hybrid dinosaurs and messing with shit that just doesn't need to be messed with. Ever since he learned that frog DNA was allowing the dinos in the park to swap genders and reproduce naturally, the scientist has put most of his effort into creating the most obscure and unethical dinosaurs around. The greatest of these hybrid creatures was the good old Indominus Rex, and man was it a sight to see. Able to run up to 40 miles per hour in the open, roaring as loud as a Boeing 747 taking off, being able to camouflage itself from normal and thermal detectors, and having a hide thick enough to take multiple rounds to the face. The Indy was already quite the impressive creation, but it didn't stop there. The Indominus sported something that only primates like us humans have: opposable thumbs, which are to this day not detailed as to how they were included into the genome of this hybrid. So let's take a look behind the scenes and see how the creators of Jurassic World brought this epic monster to life. Let's get to it! The Indominus in Jurassic World took many alterations before finally being turned into the version that was seen on screen. Film director Colin Trevorrow has said that designing the Indominus was a real pain in the ass, mostly due to the hard task of creating a terrifying and unrelenting monster, but somehow still managing to keep the creature grounded to the animals in our real life. In short, they didn't want to give it wings or swords for hands or some crazy stuff like that. It had to resemble the animals that were used to create it. For guidance, the visual effects company ILM sought the advice of veteran paleontologist Jack Horner. One of Horner's suggestions was Therizinosaurus, this crazy looking dino right here, because of its large arms and claws, which Horner says ILM used as a reference when designing the hybrid. The concept design team at Legacy Effects gave early designs that featured Indominus Rexes that were shaped in all sorts and varieties. Some had more quills and spikes, others had less. One version had a sail on the creature's neck, and another had much smaller arms than the one seen in the Indo in the movie. Two early concepts of the Indominus were created by Ian Joyner. In one version, the Indominus was depicted as being a large gray theropod with a small humped back, a pair of two long claws on each of its hands, and a large crest on its snout. While in another it was going to resemble a yellow Giganosaurus, with dark-colored stripes on its body. This version also sported quill-like feathers along its spine and under its arms. There was even a debate on which style of teeth to use. Fully enclosed teeth like that seen on Komodo dragons and the raptors, half exposed like that of the T-Rex, and lastly, mostly exposed interlocking teeth that could be seen on crocodiles. This, combined with the menacing underbite of the Indominus Rex, eventually won out, and gave us the I-Rex's signature smile. After much trial and error, the concept was eventually decided upon, and the next step was to bring the ideas to life in physical form. A maquette, a small-scale model, or rough draft, of an unfinished sculpture was created by artist Chris Costa, and the torch was then passed on to CGI model creator Steve Jubenville. Jubenville created a reference library of his own consisting of lizards, birds, and other animals when designing the dinosaur hybrid. One real-life creature used to create the monster was the goshawk. Using the color and look of the bird of prey's eyes is the final look for that of the Indominus Rexes. Steve then teamed up with Martin Murphy, who created the final look for the scales of the Indominus. And together the two artists worked diligently to deliver the best looking dinosaur that they could. Coming up with a name for the creature was also a challenge in its own right. Early storyboards call the animal Malosaurus and Malusaurus, but this was then changed to a much more cynical sounding Diabolus Rex, or D-Rex. This name was used for most of the development time of the dinosaur, but towards the end of the process, the final name, Indominus Rex, was set in stone. You may know that the iconic roar of the T-Rex was used by combining the sounds from all sorts of animals in our natural world. And the process with the Indominus Rex was the exact same, although different animals were used in order to distinguish it from the T-Rex. Using the vocalizations of walruses, whales, lions, pigs, monkeys, dolphins, and finally foxes, the sound team then altered the noises in order to create a sound that is unpleasant to most humans, as their goal was to make the audience feel agitated and not comfortable with the Indominus Rex. I'd like to think it worked, but make sure and tell me what you think. The Indominus came out looking pretty freaky, and overall, I was pleased with the design. The thing that did kind of blow T-Rex nuts though, was the lack of any animatronics being used for the IRX. I would have loved to break down how an animatronic was made for the Indominus Rex, but there just was not any of that involved when it came to creating this dinosaur. Speaking of animatronics, there was even a scene cut from Jurassic World that was the original idea for the fight between Rexy and the IRX. This scene took place near the volcano that we will be seeing plenty of in Fallen Kingdom, instead of the main part of the theme park that we've seen in the final film in Jurassic World. In the fight, there was apparently going to be a scene where the Indominus took a chomp on the head of an animatronic Rex, completely kicking the thing's ass. Luckily, Jurassic Park overlord Steven Spielberg apparently told the crew that this scene needed to go, or else fans would lose their minds due to the scene proposing that CGI was vastly superior to animatronics. Big freaking save there, huh? It would have been the Spinosaurus Rex fight all over again with the fans, something that none of us really want. So, the design of the Indominus Rex was something that may go forgotten in the decades to come, as it just didn't really have enough going for it to elevate the creature to icon status like that of the T-Rex. However, this doesn't mean that it was not a damn fine design. They set out to create a creature that was terrifying, intelligent, and OP as hell, while still looking like it could have actually been a real-life being back in prehistoric times. And they succeeded. I want to thank you all for watching the video, and hope you enjoyed it. If you feel like we deserved it, stick around DangerVille for more content like this. If you want, you can go to our Facebook page, where you can see some more personal posts from Al and I, and maybe we can have a conversation and all that stuff and things. Thank you all once again. This has been Jacob. Peace out.